So a solid strike with some good club speed, nice ball speed. Well, that's just what we want on every shot, isn't it? But the biggest difference I see between elite golfers and mid to high handicappers is the ability to create that bit of noise. So I'm going to show you how we're going to get you whipping the club through impact to improve strike, improve distance, and improve accuracy. So I've mentioned there about that noise that we create down at the bottom of the swing. And you can hear that kind of whoosh sound with me is very much after the golf ball. But unfortunately with most golfers, you kind of hear that noise before they get to the ball. And off the back of that, the strike drops off, the distance drops off, and just it can feel like you're putting a lot of energy into the golf swing to not really hit the ball very far. And I think there's two key areas that golfers need to improve. If first of all they're going to get that kind of whip through the bottom, but also control the club face. Because a lot of the reason that guys can't get that is that club face is in a poor position in the swing. And if they get what they need at impact, they just miss everything out to the right. So why do we create that noise with the first instance? So what you'll tend to see is in the backswing, we'll tend to see the club and the arms move first, then the upper body, then the hips. And from the top of the swing, we should see a reverse of that. So we should see lower body start to unwind, then the torso, then the arms, and the final bit is the club. And that's where the energy is transferring correctly from the ground through your body into the club. But unfortunately, what we see with most golfers is they get to the top, the first movement is very club and upper body, and then everything else is trying to add on top. Now, I know that sounds quite complicated, doesn't it? That I've got to think about moving lower body, then upper, then arms, then club. But what if there was a way of showing that you already have that sequence and you learnt it probably before you even picked a golf club up? And the way I'm going to get you to do it, very simply, pick a ball up, stand side on, and throw the ball. And what you'll probably notice is that you can throw the ball a decent distance, but as the arm goes back, we start to step, which is our lower body moving. That unwinds, then the body unwinds, then the arm, and then we release the ball. So you've already got that sequence absolutely perfectly when you throw a ball. So this is where, if we're going to improve your sequencing, you need to use your imagination a little bit here, we're going to feel like we're going to throw the golf club. I'm not actually going to let go of it. And I know some of you out there might say, whoa, when I lose my temper, I generate some good speed. Yeah, maybe. So we're going to swing to the top as normal, and then I want you to feel like you're going to throw the club down the range. And you can hear straight away some really good speed. And we're starting to hear that sound in the correct place. Now, I would always say, initially, hit some shots just with the feeling of throwing the golf club. Now, completely to begin with, ignore strike, ignore direction, try and get a feel for that movement. Problem for a lot of golfers is they become very reactive to the golf ball, and as soon as we hit a couple of bad ones and it feels new or different, we then revert back to what we've always done. So we're going to set up to the ball, backswing as normal, and then feel like I throw the club towards the target. Felt good, felt quick. Now for me there, the contact's been good, low point ahead of the golf ball, good club speed, good ball speed, and good carry. Now, obviously one of the things that more elite players, better ball strikers, tend to do is from that address position at impact, you will see much more of a shaft lean towards a target. Now, if you're not somebody who creates that at the moment, what you might find is the way you've been squaring the club face up is this way. So then as you put shaft lean in, that shot might miss to the right. And that's very often what I see with golfers. So they'll get that feeling, feel like they throw the club club face gets delivered much more open. So we see great path, great speed, low point, a long way forward. Club face wide open. Now there's a worry because it starts missing there, and the only way they've known in the past of how to square that club face up is as they're coming in, the body stops, the hands go, and that adds that loft to try and square the club face up. So we need to have a better way for the second part of controlling that club face. So we're going to throw the club, or feel like we throw the club, but we have to control the club face better. And a great way of feeling that is if you look down the line, as you swing back, stop halfway, and a lot of golfers will see that the club face is pointing out in front of them. So what we would like to feel is the club face stays looking at the ball a little bit more on the way back, that my glove logo is pointing out that way, and the club face is looking more down to the ground. Then as we go to the top, now we can feel like we throw the golf club, keep those knuckles down, and that's going to help square that club face up, but with much more shaft lean and speed. So the club face control should help with direction. The sequencing should then help with speed, and the combination of the two should improve strike. So you might have a little rehearsal halfway back, feel that club face stays looking at the ball a little bit more, and then actually feel like you throw the club. That felt great. And then stand up to the golf ball. And even though that was a tiny bit thin, we can see more club head speed, low point ahead, paths from the inside, club face slightly closed, little baby draw at nearly 176 carry. Now, I'm not promising you're suddenly going to be 176 yards, but what I would generally see with golfers is when they do it the old way, it's almost a little bit of a glancing blow. So you see my club head speed hasn't dropped off massively, but ball speed drops down. Club face is wide open, much more out to in, nearly 12 degrees. And the carry drops down to 154. So there's kind of over 20 yards in that, simply by feeling, one, that there's a bit more sequencing in the downswing to create that speed, get that energy into that club head. But then we start compressing the golf ball and just hitting some really high quality golf shots. So let's finish on one more. Let's see if I can get 90 mile an hour club head speed and potentially get to that 180 carry. So it felt solid. So there's my club head speed at 90.2. Low point not far ahead as I would like, but some decent delivery. And for one that wasn't perfect, 176 carry, I'll take that for now. So if you want to get that club whipping through the bottom, creating a bit more speed, having a bit more control, the first thing is use that sequence that you use to throw the ball. From the ground, get the energy through the body into the club. But the negative is if you then don't learn how to control the club face, as good as the strike and the speed might be, you're probably going to miss a lot out to the right. So you've got to learn how to have more control on that club face through the swing, and then you can whip the club through and hit longer, straighter shots than ever before.